Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the InsurTech Summit 2021, Day 2. Now, we've got our second panel discussion lined up, and this is going to be very interesting because one of the things that we spoke about in particular yesterday with regards to bank assurance and InsurTech was something that really stood out for a lot of audience, and they wanted to hear in particular about digital bank assurance. So here's a roundtable that we've brought to you on digital bank assurance and the next step for bank assurance. Now, the panelists that I have with me here are Ms. Sara Irfan. I'm just going to put them on screen as well. So we've got Ms. Sara Irfan, who's joining us from Habib Metropolitan Bank. She's the head of wealth management. We've got Mr. Shahzad Kusambi. He's the head of bank assurance at Dubai Islamic Bank. Raazia Bari, who's the senior manager bank assurance from UBL, and Arqam, he's the head of bank assurance at Bank Alfalah. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for
Thank you
joining.
very much, Anza.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anza and CXO Global.
So we've got a lot of questions ready for you all, and I'm going to be asking you, one by one. So starting with you, Sarah, what exactly is bank assurance, and what does digital bank assurance entail, in your opinion?
In easy words, bank assurance is just simply an arrangement between a bank and an insurance company, allowing the insurance company to sell and market its product through bank's customer base and through bank's distribution channel. So, in a summary, bank acts as a distributor and product belongs to an insurance company. So that is all. What is bank assurance? Well, in today's era, digitalization is highlighted as the core component of growth. And since if bank assurance needs to stay relevant, then in order to meet the holistic needs of the customer, digitalization is the next door, which we should be exploring very rapidly in all the banks. For that, they will be needing to work in close collaboration with insurance company because the pitfall of operating in silos may affect the growth of digitalization of bank assurance digitalization in Pakistan. The drive towards digitalization, well, for the bank assurance, and it is expected to showcase a very, very positive outlook over the next few years because all of the friends and colleagues do realization that if we do not open the door of bank assurance digitalization right now, we may see a drastic dip in overall business. So yes,
Right now,
yeah.
I agree. Mr. Arqam, do you have something to add to, what exactly is bank assurance and how is the word digital impacting it? So you need to unmute yourself, please.
Right.
Yes.
As Sarah is also very rightly mentioned, it's basically an arrangement between the bank and the insurance providers, whereby a bank's distribution network is actually used to market the insurance company's products. And I think the concept started off back in around 2003 and 4, and after 2007 there was an increase in the numbers, and the industry has been increasing ever since. And the digital bit, I would say, we have to look at the opportunity. It's immense. It's huge. There are over 50 million internet users, and with less than a percentage of penetration, within the life insurance sector, the opportunity is huge. And we have seen a lot of banks, coming up, with their digital products, and it's catching up. Although at this point in time, the volumes are not comparable to your brick and mortar, but at the same time, they are catching up. And I think as we continue in the discussion, we also need to discuss the role, of both the regulators that can actually help in, further improving the situation.
Absolutely agreed. Thank you, sir. Now, Ms. Razia, a report by McKinsey in 2017 said that there is a positive growth trend for insurance and bank assurance as a whole. What do you accredit this growth to? Unmute yourself, ma'am.
Yeah. So, firstly, when we say digital bank assurance or digital banking, I think this is a very good concept when it is talking about outreach, but to a particular niche. I wouldn't really say that digital banking would reach out to the masses as yet in our country. We have a long way to go. There is a lot of awareness that needs to be created before we actually look at how it's going to be taken. Yes, for a particular need, for a particular ticket size that we feel would come out of the digital market, it's possible. But for that, I would like to also add that, like Arqam said, that the regulator's role needs to be more defined. At this point in time, there is a lot that needs to be done from the state bank end for digitalization of bank assurance when it comes to high tickets. When it comes to small ticket products, then again, we don't see much opportunity in the digital market. That's my personal perspective. Now, what McKinsey has decided that yes, there is growth, and that is definitely because, I mean, if it's 2017, so it's definitely the pre-COVID times. So that is mostly because the banks have moved towards digitalization, the apps have been developed, but even in Pakistan, if you see, a lot of banks don't offer insurance on their apps. So it is
Right.
perhaps growth in the insurance sector. I'm not sure I'm not sure how in Pakistan has there been growth in the bank insurance segment digitally. So that is something that we need to explore further. But yes, the insurance companies have increased their reach through the websites and developed their apps, and that has reached out to the customers. Most importantly, primarily because there is convenience in payment, and it's easy to pay up the premiums year-on-year basis. It's easy to manage these things, and there is less documentation required. So that's perhaps the reason for this growth.
Right. I agree. Thank you, ma'am. Now, Mr. Shahzad Kasumbi, sir,
Right.
your comment on the question.
Oh, thank you very much. Definitely, first talking about the digital bank assurance. Yes, I am one of the pro in this regime. We would say coming from insurance and takaful background, and then joined the banking for last 6 years. I really think the McKinsey report you're talking about in 2017, as Raazia said, this is pre-COVID times, and since COVID times, the things have drastically changed. If you see this, as we focus on the markets, like when we see insurance or bank assurance, we see markets like Middle East, Far East, and globally, what things have changed, and our leading insurers do follow those, and the regulator even do follow the practices that are going on. So I would really say there was a positive growth trend. Yes, I would agree to that because
Even
there
for
were.
emerging markets like Pakistan and Sri Lanka, Bangladesh.
I would not compare Pakistan with Bangladesh or Sri Lanka also, because right now also our insurance penetration as percentage of GDP is still lying around 1.1% as compared to Sri Lanka, which is almost 2%. And if you talk about Bangladesh, it is double to what Pakistan is. So I really believe there is a huge opportunity, the opportunity that bank assurance has given to the insurance industry. Since, as Arqam said, since 2004, 2005, the products came, the processes were developed, and the markets were again explored, and banks were the key channel which derived insurance apart from direct sales uh, on these unit linked and saving products. So I really think there is again there is a huge opportunity. There are products right now in the market. Yes, there need to be value addition in the product suite. Right now, yes, most of the banks capitalized on the unit linked life insurance offerings. I really believe, if you ask me, there if products can be customized, and since COVID, if you there I really believe there is a need of small ticket, the term life, and the general non-life products also, which can definitely make good sense to the customers. And secondly, banking channel is, and the banking customer shall, in my opinion, shall get the insurance from the banking point of sale, rather than going as in a silo as an independent perspective.
Right, agreed, sir. Thank you very much. Now, Ms. Sara Irfan, in contrast, many banks have been deterred from putting much effort into marketing non-life insurance products, which have lower average sale prices and commissions. Now, few banks have meaningfully increased sales penetration of auto and commercial lines, though many banks have done reasonably well through like coupling home insurance with mortgage products and so on. Now, how would you comment on this? Unmute yourself, ma'am. Right, please carry
Well,
on.
yeah, Anza, that's right. That non-life insurance product has lower sales volume have been captured in the last 14, 15 years when bank assurance has penetrated. But now I think the scenario overall in the industry has been changed, as all of my other colleagues mentioned. Shahzad touched upon it, that bank assurance started off from 2000. So, in my opinion, last few years were a learning process for everyone, for all the bankers, for the insurance company, for the regulator in terms of bank assurance, where we have where we have evolved to a great extent. We have all learned and came up to the learning curve as far as the main unit linked life assurance product. However, yes, there is a huge opportunity on all the other value added products of bank assurance, which mainly are general life insurance, commercial products. And yes, now is the time where almost I think all the bankers are realizing the potential in terms of revenue, in terms of sales, and in terms of the need of the clients. In fact, the clients are also now getting awareness, and they also approach branches and banks and they inquire about the products. So there is a huge shift which we have witnessed over the last few years. And not to forget, COVID has also played a very important role in terms of shaking up the client base needs. Now they, since it has knocked almost unfortunately to every door. So now the customers have approached to the bank asking and inquiring about various health insurance product, about various general insurance product, commercial lines product, where the business have hit them. So yes, now I think all the banks have started to revamping their strategy about non-life insurance product. But yes, like I think Arqam mentioned or Shahzad mentioned, we still require input and focus of regulator on this particular side of the product line. So yes, I think in the next 5 years you will see a very drastic increase on on the product lines which are non-life insurance.
Right. Thank you. Mr. Arqam, but do you have something to add to the same question of, non-life products and marketing them and so on and so forth?
Yes, well, I think Sarah's covered most of it, but I would also add that there's certain other elements in the product nomenclature itself. See, yes, one thing is that we do need to realize that the customer need is different from what we may perceive at this point in time. And as she also mentioned, after COVID, we've seen an upside in our health products as well, because people now want that hospitalization to be covered through their insurance products. Now, having said that, I think we also need to focus, if you want to think about products other than unit linked products, we also need to bring in some of the living benefits on board. For example, mostly the life insurance in Pakistan has basically been about death benefit, and very little has been put towards its living benefits. For example, if you look at different kinds of ads in in our neighboring countries, they would focus a lot on the retirement benefits and other kinds of benefits. And so I think that's one part that we have to focus on, the customer needs. At the same time, I think there is one element that also restricts smaller tickets, is actually the marketing spend. currently, I think in some of the products, the marketing incentive, which is permissible by the ACCP, is actually not there in smaller tickets. Hence, it gives limited chance to banks and to the insurance companies to actually market it and to promote it from the same rupee value. So I think that's another factor that can actually add towards the take up of your non-unit linked products. And then again, as everyone said, the guidelines from the regulators are also not coherent completely. There are confusions. So once that happens, I think we would see
Yeah.
a
Do you
faster.
think then we would see a speeding up of
Yes, exactly.
banks
Yes, yes.
and
I think that
bancassurance?
clarity. I think that clarity, would be accompanied by a larger growth, definitely.
Right. So we had Madam Seema Kamil here from the State Bank yesterday, and
Right.
she has some very positive outlooks on the future, and I think we will be
Yes.
expecting coherency in regulations very soon. Now,
Yes.
um, moving on. Now, long before the pandemic closed its bank doors, consumers were still digitizing their day to day financial services and activities as many banks were pruning branches because, fintech has, whether we like it or not, made a disruption in Pakistan. Now, demanding digitization in particular also brings forward a couple of more things. For instance, carriers have one primary goal in mind now, even, and that's banks as well that are providing bank assurance. Now, that's improving customer experience and engagement. Uh, Ms. Razia, what would be your take on this?
Okay, so yes, the market is really digitalizing, and yes, people are coming on board. It is very important at this point, with the insurance perspective, to understand what are the needs of an ordinary person that can be addressed digitally. At this point in time, we as large banks are fairly lucky that we have a huge customer base that falls under a particular premium size, and that is ideal for the small tickets that we've been talking about earlier. So, if we create that right awareness, we create the right platform, we would be in a much better position to understand what their needs are to be addressed digitally, and that is when they can actually come to that digital platform and utilize it, which is the only way we can actually make use of this particular channel. I mean, having a digital channel, having apps and websites that actually offer insurance, but if they're not user friendly, if they don't address the requirements of the larger customer base, which is primarily the small tickets, it won't really work out. However, the RD accounts, the Russian digital accounts, and other accounts have grabbed a lot of audience to the digital platform. And I think at this point in time, it's a very good platform for insurance to explore.
Right, ma'am. Very pertinent points made. Now, we must keep in mind that transformation can, in part, be achieved by improved use of data, artificial intelligence, and analytics. Now, banks are already armed with an arsenal of information about their customers, and they're seeking to leverage this unique competitive advantage by making smaller, iterative changes to enrich and improve the customer experience and make targeted offers because you guys do have that edge over everyone else. Mr. Shahzad Kusambi, your opinion, please.
Look, I told you before that believe there is no reason why banking customer should be offered insurance other than the banking channel. Okay, I really believe we have got.
Those
You
are
are very right.
controversial words, sir.
No,
Those are
no, you are
controversial.
very right. The banking sector and the banking customers are the most segmented, most classified customers. Where, as Razia mentioned, yes, they are more classified, and we, with all the behaviors, their spending behaviors and their, you would say, demographics, psychographics, if all data, these things are available. But the most important part is how are we utilizing that data? How is our partners, the insurance partners, are putting up the products, those are, as Arqam mentioned, uh, our neighboring country or Middle East or Far East, which we believe and we follow because they are a little slightly ahead in terms of not just the products, in terms of the services, in terms of integrations of the processes, and the lifestyle benefits. So I really believe that gap is still there, and our insurance companies are definitely coping up and coming up with those avenues. Being Pakistan, being a developing country, definitely there are challenges for the reinsurance arrangements and the back end and availability of those coverages. But our insurance companies, to name a few, yes, they are working aggressively to align with the bank. State Bank and the SCCP are taking very good initiatives in line with modernizing the culture of banking as well as, I believe, insurance. And as fintech and these things are integrating in the banking, with the financial services, insurance or an insurtech is the next in line to be integrated with banking and other financial services.
Right,
And
sir. Thank you.
in my opinion, I would see, I wanted to see next 5 years down the line, bank will be an insurance supermarket, which is where all kinds of products are available, catering to the lending customers, asset customers, liability, and individuals, trade customers. It's not far away. The
Right.
work has begun. Some insurance companies are working, others are just following up, integrating with the distributors like banks, like telcos. So things are happening, and it's not far away that we see Pakistan insurance industry making this disruption. So
Right, absolutely. Thank you, sir. Ma'am Sarah, do you have a different opinion or maybe something to add here? Because sir spoke about people who are within the banking channels, but what about the millions of Pakistanis that are not even within the banking channels, and maybe there can be some telcos-based solutions for them.
Yeah, I agree. Well, telcos based solution are very easy for the customers to opt, and that's a very different micro customer segment which are being targeted to telcos, and I think that's a very appropriate strategy
Do you
because
think
those
it'll
customers.
discourage people from coming into the regular banking channels?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think people will still who have the pocket size will come in the regular banking channel, and their selection of products will be different. Their pocket size or their premium size of the products which they will opt for will be different. But these are two totally different markets. And in my view, in my humble view, we should simultaneously expedite and pursue both the channels because both the channels have their strengths and both the channels will simultaneously increase the overall insurance pie, which just like Shahzad mentioned that our penetration in Pakistan is very low as compared to the neighboring countries. So yes, product customization is the need of an hour, both in terms of the product design and digitalization both. Yes, regulator has to play a very important role, and yes, insurance company are continuously evolving and they will continue to evolve. In the last few years I have seen on the product designing as well and on touching upon the lifestyle benefits which they are continuously trying, and they are trying to collaborate with the banks. Now the banks need to enhance and make that a part of their strategy as well to that how we will incorporate non-life product and make the overall pie a bigger pie. So yes, I think we should pursue
Right.
both the
And
channels
ma'am,
simultaneously.
don't you think that banks, and especially bigger banks, have a head start at this because of all the data and analytics that you people already have?
Anza, well, I have a different opinion because initially it was Standard Chartered and Citibank and ABN AMRO, which were relatively smaller in size, who launched this idea of bank assurance, and they were running the market for a few years. It was quite late when Habib Bank, UBL, MCB kicked in. So in fact, the bigger banks learned it from the smaller banks. But the point I would like to mention, yes, it was the data analytics which make these banks to think that there is a need of bank assurance and there is a big opportunity. Standard Chartered, ABN AMRO, Citibank, they were very, very high on analytics, on data customization, on understanding their customer base, on their segments, which enabled them to launch the bank assurance business in this market today, and which was learned later and adopted by HBL, UBL, MCB, Alfalah, all the bigger banks. So yes,
Right.
but yes, data analytics is one of the key tool to increase this business.
Right. Thank you. Mr. Arqam, but sir, we did hear that bank assurance contributes to a significant income in the bank where it does launch successful products. Now, how does a bank see it internally and how does it compare to the other banking products?
I think the income stream is very, very attractive. Even now, although in the next 2 to 3 years we will see a decrease in the incomes of the banks because there's a 15% decline that we're seeing in starting from this year. So there will be a 5% dip in the next 3 years. So the overall bank's income is going to get reduced by about 15%. However, I think that still is a huge opportunity, and I think it's more of a fact that we now need to develop that habit of developing a sales culture at the branch level, whereby, and I think here again, I think it's also relevant to the last question that you asked, is how important are analytics, and I think they're extremely important, and I think they're getting the insight into the customer's needs, I think it can actually change and actually shape the future of product development within bank assurance. And unless we are able to connect, with their lifestyles, I am seeing that we may not be able to get the same kind of results, as we want, when it comes to increasing our penetration. As Shahzad also mentioned, and everybody mentioned that the penetration is very low. But see, even now, and it all connects with the digital space as well, that products in Pakistan are still sold. I think, and until and unless the insurance products, especially the small tickets and digital banking products, are actually bought by the customers, we won't see the results that we're trying to get out of the bank assurance arrangement. So here and again, who knows? A few rows down the road, if the regulatory regime is helping us, we can think of solutions like robo advisory, and there's so much to do, and I think in social media as well, AI-based marketing can be used, to attract the customers, and from there we can actually see the kind of growth that we want. When the customers actually start asking for these products themselves, I think we're still far from that point, whereby we're able to create that awareness within the customers that this is something that they actually want. So yes, having said that, I think bank assurance, I see a very, very good future for bank assurance, and it will probably remain to be a large contributor towards your overall life insurance production within the country. So I think the potential is there. Yes, the regulations are getting tighter, but I think the potential is so much that given the fact
we'll
that
talk about the regulations a little more further on, and I want you to hold on to that thought. Meanwhile, I go to Ms. Raazia. Ma'am, how do you think the income generated from bank assurance will compare to the other products that are available? And do you see any products the current existing products losing their significance if bank assurance does become more popular?
Okay, so see, the bank does generate a decent income from this, but again, I wouldn't really call it a major portion. If you really look at the numbers, it's not more than 5% of the annual numbers. So in comparison to the other products, perhaps a little higher, but depends on how it goes from year to year. And like Arqam just mentioned, that year on year our income is significantly going to decrease as per the new regulations. So no, I don't feel that if bank insurance were to be more enhanced, was to be sold much more, or have a greater numbers, it would really impact on the other products, because the other products are also consumer based, but those products are completely different. Like I think Arqam or Shahzad said, that the need of this product has not yet been highlighted to the extent as we would ideally like from our insurance partners, from the regulators, and in fact, if I'm not wrong, there hasn't really been an insurer, an organization like for instance for mutual funds we have a MUFAC. For insurance, we don't have a body that actually comes out with all the insurance companies that create awareness, or that thing that awareness that is needed for the small ticket products. Higher sale of small ticket products is perhaps a very important thing, like we're also talking digitally, so it all adds up. But no, on the contrary, I don't think that any of the other products in the bank would really be would really lose any part of this. They're completely different products, and they reach out to customers in a different way. So no,
Right.
I wouldn't say
Thank you,
that.
ma'am. It's interesting to see another perspective. I believe Miss Sarah will be rejoining us. I think there's probably a connection error. But meanwhile, she joins. We've got a very interesting question from the audience, and Mr. Shahzad Kusambi, I'd request you to take this. Now, Mr. Mohammed Fayaz Wakani, who's watching us, he says that Bancassurance is also provided to be a small business unit for the banks, which it seems is creating hurdles for digitalization of the process. Shouldn't banks consider it as a service to industry? Sir, Mr. Wakani's words, not mine. Please address his question. Sir, unmute yourself,
Okay.
please.
I just wanted to add here what Raazia and Arqam were saying, that there is banks focus. Most of the banks for last 2 to 3 years, you've seen the more focus has gone to acquiring the wallet space. And I would really believe that when we talk about insurance, yes, small tickets will play a major role when now the banks which are moving on to branchless banking, digital banking, even digital banking regulations are there for standalone bank. So that wallet space insurance will definitely be playing a major role, and majorly non-life small ticket products to acquire the masses and their wallet space. As Mr. Fayaz mentioned, I really believe the business units in the bank are not I would say not the hurdles for creating a digital transformation for bank assurance, but actually the kind of product that is available, and the as our banks are moving into digital, they are digitally transforming. So insurance will get its position once the core products are settled with the digital in the digital era. If we need to have our insurance companies need to have the right products, the right processes which can be aligned with the banking products. And the most important point is these products will not be offered standalone. There will be or digital only channel, but it will be more like a hybrid channel where bank different channels of the banks will be offering such products. But at this point of time, the products are not available mostly with most of the banks on the digital platform, is reasoned with insurance companies are still on experimenting such products with the processes that can give proper product journey, customer journey to the for these products.
Right, sir. Thank you very much. Ms. Sarah, welcome back. If you could unmute yourself, I'll read the comment from Mr. Fayaz Wakani again. He has said, this is his question, not mine. He says that bank assurance has also proved to be a small business unit for the banks, which it seems is creating hurdles for digitalization of the process. Shouldn't banks consider it as a service to the industry? Now, Mr. Shahzad has shared his opinion. I'd like yours, please.
Um, In my humble view, I would be disagreeing with the comment. I don't think that bank assurance is a small line of business. I think it's a significant line of business. And as far as the banks with which I have been associated, I have seen a strategy and I have seen and witnessed them struggling and exploring their digitalization process, and they have been very interested. Even in my current organization, which Habib Metro Bank, we are trying to work in close coordination with the digital team, that whatever any small process or big process, how can we explore the digitalization mode, and how can we digitalization the process, the product, the service element. So I slightly disagree. I think banks see bank assurance as a consistent line of a stream of income, and overall consistent product menu for the clients. They do see and they do pursue this line of business in that way. So since it's a consistent product menu, and we will continue to provide these line of products to the clients, so there is a constant struggle and an evolving process where, for example, non-life products like travel insurance or like COVID product or like small ticket product, which are easy to be digitalized as compared to unit link. So there has been a constant struggle, and a lot of work is happening in all the banks, in my view.
Yes. So Mr. Arqam Bhatt had said something very pertinent in this regard. He had said that analytics and customer insight is actually very essential for shaping the future of product development in bank assurance, especially the connection with the lifestyles. I think that kind of sums up a lot of research that needs to go into perfecting the products that are to be designed. Now, coming back to you, Mr. Arqam, so you had mentioned that obviously with the guidelines of corporate insurance regulations, now year on year, we will be seeing somewhat of a decline in the commissions. How do you see the
Yes.
future of bank assurance at your bank?
I think it's it's all about having that habit, and I think again it's I think here and I think again this also links with the comment that Mr. Fayaz also mentioned. I think there has to be a combined effort whereby the insurance partners would see this product is actually owned by the insurance company. We're just the distributors, right? So while we can assist in shaping up the product, it also requires a certain kind of underwriting arrangement, and that underwriting arrangement then has to be further backtracked to the reinsurers. So the insurance companies have to be ready, and they have to be ready to innovate and to work along with the bank when it comes to shaping these products, and once we do that and see a large constituent in this could be the model itself. For example, in the referral model of bank assurance, there are actually people from the insurance companies who are actually sitting in the bank, and they're selling these products, and they're closing the sales. So they have to ensure that there's a habit which is developed whereby we push these small tickets, as you also mentioned, and as what we really need these small tickets coming in on a daily basis. So once that happens, if you just do the maths, if you say if a person who's sitting from the insurance company or a bank is able to sell a small ticket every day, and you do the maths, the numbers are they're just going to be huge. While the commissions have reduced, I think with the change in habits and these products, I see a lot of growth, still a lot of growth in bank assurance.
Ms. Raazia, now we've seen, I was interviewing a lot of startups in InsurTech yesterday as well, and some, successful InsurTech players, and we're already seeing, the future, if I may add. So there are robo-advisors, there is, you know, uh, claims being covered on WhatsApp. We see ride-hailing services with partnerships. Now, mind me for being the devil's advocate, but the banks still have not provided that sort of a customer journey or customer experience yet. Uh, Do you
Okay,
see this as part of the forecast in your bank in particular with regards to bank assurance?
Okay, so Ansa, with this question, I would like to highlight the positive side of bank assurance. This is insurance is being sold since I don't know decades now, perhaps. So when we have the bank reaching out to the customers, not only are we reaching out to a major segment of the customer base in the entire country, which the insurance company was unable to tap, whether we use digital channels, whatever channels the bank may be using, we are definitely reaching out to a larger audience. But when I say we are reaching out, it also suggests that we are a place where anyone can walk in. The customers can walk into the branch and talk about the product. They can lodge a complaint. They can discuss something. We are providing a platform to the customers to express themselves the way they want, which I think other channels or even the insurance companies were unable to do. So the banks are playing a major role in not just reaching out to the customers, but also in giving them the confidence that we are there for them. So that's a major role that somehow I feel is
Right.
marginalized. It's not highlighted as positively.
Ma'am, if I
Now,
may interrupt you there
yeah.
just for a second, ma'am, I do agree that obviously as consumers, they're more prone to trusting their banks, like for example, HBL or Standard Chartered, so on and so forth. But we have to realize that we're also living in the post-pandemic scenario. So bank assurance as a channel is predominantly operated, like you said, through branches. And branches have their own limitations. It is a costly model. At the end of the day, it's not very safe in the current scenario. So, what's next in terms of bank
So yeah,
assurance? So,
definitely, like Sarah was also saying, that we are definitely going digital. I don't see any bank which is probably not looking at the digital aspect of it. And quite frankly, even UBL at this point is exploring how to go digital. And we have opened all kinds of channels for our customers. It's the call center, be it the WhatsApp, be it the social media channels. We are accepting any customer comment, any customer query or complaint through any medium possible. We are definitely looking into going digital. But at this point in time, like I also highlighted earlier, there are certain regulations that need to be perhaps more clear to us with unit linked products and even small products, which would allow us to reach out to the market digitally. But all the banks, I'm sure, have moved on to from the conventional branch model to the digital model or to the telesales model or social media model, definitely reaching out to customers and allowing them to reach to us. Definitely.
right. And that's something very positive and encouraging to hear from the banks. Thank you. Mr. Shahzad Kusambi, your future forecast for digital bank assurance in terms of your bank.
Look, I've been hearing Sarah Arqam for this last round of questions you've asked. The reality, what I see, the culture, the society we are living in, insurance for an individual, there are religious issues, there are certain experience issues. The industry and has not been able to reach out the masses. I'm talking generally, not specifically, uh, to understand the need of insurance to the masses. People are still people treat it as a luxury, as they treat insurance 10 years ago when I joined the industry 10, 12 years ago. And there need to be a proper education and knowledge base that need to be cascaded, as you mentioned, post pandemic. Yes, people realize the need of having insurance or takaful when definitely this COVID and seeing people going to the hospitals and stuff like that. I would just say there need to be, there's a collaborative effort need to be done by core insurance industry. I'm very happy to hear InsurTech is actively working, but for in coming 5 years, what I see is these InsurTechs will definitely play a pivotal role, as it played in India, it played in Sri Lanka or Malaysia. They will ride, these insurtechs will ride on distributors. The core distributor is the bank. Then there is telco. Then there are different startups, successful startup like Kareem and Food Panda, and so they will ride on where who have got the mass market coverage and with offering their insurance. If you say that these insurtech will offer standalone products, that is still, there is a long way to go. The distribution strategies need to be devised to again increase this insurance penetration. And among these, I would really see health becoming very important, health insurance and health takaful, which is the need of the hour. But unfortunately, I won't be specific in this. We are not able to build up a product for a customer with SEC. If you talk about SEC B, SEC C, who have got such a product which which is affordable to him, which is accessible to him, and most importantly, he's aware of the benefits. So I would see health insurance taking the lead, and these insurtech will definitely need to partner up with the main distributors to
Yes.
cater to those masses. And again,
Right.
I would like to add one thing more. Banks are operating on their model. What products they cannot take on every product and keep it on the shelf. Definitely, bank has got that P&L that need to be maintained and that need to be answered and everything. So the important thing is bank will only take over that product which has got complete customer journey, customer experience is good, and customer journey is completed where customer is being serviced properly.
Right, sir.
Banks like Sarah, I would give an example of Sarah. Like she's been in the industry for quite some time, and the experiments she have done on the product side, including health, life, term life, chartered, Faisal Bank, they were the pioneers. ABN, they were the pioneers. Then there were certain instances where the products need to be rolled back. There were various reasons for that, and now again these products are again in the limelight, along with other general lines products like autos and other key man insurance and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
maybe the time was right back then, but sir, thank you for your comments. Unfortunately, we're running very low on our time right now. But
right.
we would like to thank all of you for joining us. It's been a brilliant panel discussion, and you all come with such differing backgrounds and opinions. And we're glad that you are the shapers of bank assurance and digital bank assurance for the future of Pakistani banks. Ms. Sarah, your ending comments, and we'll end there.
Thank you, Anza. It was indeed an opportunity, I think, for all of
We can't hear you, ma'am.
Can
Yeah,
you hear me
we can.
now?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
I would just like to make one ending comment. Insurance itself is relatively a complex product, as in bank assurance. Digitalization is also a second, a little complicated process. And then third, bank assurance is all about integrating different channels, right? Insurance company, customer, banks. So the overall digitalization process for bank assurance, hence, becomes a little more complicated, which is why the growth has been relatively a little slower. So yes, we need to understand the challenges as well, but yes, there is a huge opportunity lying out in the market. There is a huge potential still lying out in the customer, and there is a genuine customer need. And we all are hungry, all the banks are hungry for it to cater to those needs. And all the insurance partners are right there, and they all are working very aggressively. And so is the regulator. In fact, I would like to make a comment, such as I mentioned, I have been associated with business for almost more than 15 years. Regulator has played a very, very significant role. I certainly remember rolling out few products, and there were in those days there were no existence of regulations, and now regulator has become very active. They work very part to part with us, and yes, in this journey, there are constant and continuous improvement, which has played a vital role in the growth of overall business. But yes, the last comment, I'm very optimistic, and I see a huge rise in the bank assurance business in the next coming years. Thank you,
Right.
Anza.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. Please keep contributing to the knowledge economy. It's been an honor talking to all of you today.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Anza.
much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Khalid.
much. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Anza.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because we've got some very exciting panel discussions and speakers coming up for you today. Stay tuned and keep watching. Keep us updated with your comments and feedback.